Hello and welcome to another series of More a Way of Life. Over the next 6 weeks we'll be bringing you stories that we hope will amuse, enlighten or even surprise you. Tonight we have a film interview with one of Northern Ireland's most outspoken Catholic priests, Father Des Wilson of the Ballymurphy estate in Belfast. Steve Bruce will be telling us about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, another of that growing band of ministers who see no conflict between their religious calling and involvement in mainstream politics. And I'll be talking to the Reverend Robert Dickinson, who almost made it in this week's election for the next moderator of the Presbyterian General Assembly. But first, Belfast's small but resilient Jewish community has now got its first spiritual leader in over 5 years. Here's Steve Bruce with a report.
This elegant Victorian drinking fountain was erected in memory of Daniel Joseph Jaffe, founder of a prominent Jewish family and one of Belfast's linen barons. It used to stand in the city centre, first in Donegal Square, later in Victoria Street. Now it stands, largely forgotten, in the corner of the Botanic playing fields. Daniel Jaffe was generous with his profits from the linen industry. He built Belfast's second synagogue. The building in Great Victoria Street is now used by the Apostolic Church. Daniel's son, Sir Otto Jaffe, built a new synagogue at Carlisle Circus. In 1904, he won the unique distinction of becoming Belfast's first non-Christian mayor. The building, which once served the Jews, now serves the whole community as part of the Mater Hospital. The present synagogue is an impressive modern building in the heart of residential North Belfast. It's sadly ironic that the smaller Jaffe synagogues should have been replaced by a larger building at the same time as the community was shrinking. For the last 5 years, the 300 or so Jews in Belfast have been without a spiritual leader and have made do with visiting rabbis. They now have a rabbi from Israel, Natan Granevitz. With the help of an interpreter, I asked the rabbi how he knew the people of Belfast needed him.
They find me, not I find them.
But
There was a Rabbi Rosen from Dublin. He was in Israel, and he had contact with me. He phoned me that the Belfast community need a rabbi, and he wants I come here. I think about many times, and every week I have telephone. And then I decided, my wife together, to come if they need me, if I can do something. Then I am here.
how many children did you leave behind in Israel?
5 children, all the marriage, and 17 grandchildren. That's all children, grandchildren.
Don't you miss them a great deal?
Of course I miss them. We have contact. They phone me every week, all the children, and letters every day. Very good.
When you arrived here, you couldn't speak any English at all. It must have been extremely difficult for you.
Not the same as if a people knows to study Talmud, he knows everything. No difficult, nothing.
When you were in Israel, you were part of a Jewish culture. Everything was Jewish, the law was Jewish, the religion was Jewish. Now you're in a foreign country, you're part of a very small minority. Has this affected the way you think about your faith? Has this changed you?
Not change me, but because this is a small community, and because they haven't a rabbi here, but that's the reason we have to come here. And in my big community, all the Jewish people, there's many rabbis, and they can, if they need something, they have it. And here, if they need something, they have it not.
Do you try and convert people to Judaism?
If I try, no. No, I try to convert the Jewish people to Judaism.
Do you find there is much interest about the Jewish religion among Northern Ireland people?
I don't understand this.
Wenn begegnet Goyim, die finden sie also sehr interessant in Jüdischkeit, zu wissen, was Jüdischkeit bestellt.
Yes, very much. I don't understand. That's the one thing that I find here new for me. Many non-Jewish people want to know about Judaism. I don't understand why, but that's the fact. Many Jewish people, even today we have here a group of teachers, and they ask about Judaism.
Why have the numbers of Jewish people in Belfast dwindled so much?
What dwindled? Small?
Yes, small.
Yes.
Because after beginning the trouble, they have not work, they have not jobs. Then they go, and not only Jewish people, other people also. They go find jobs in other places.
You weren't worried about coming to a place with a reputation for violence?
No. If I came to Jewish people, I don't worry about nothing. You say, you know, in our religion is here repeated this is Shlechei mitzvah inam nizokim. Maybe you can say in English.
People that are on a mission, no harm, in a godly mission, no harm comes to them.
But we have people killing each other in the name of religion.
It's very sad to be killed, because I think all the religion can live together and respect each other ways. We can live together. That's not a problem about religion. That's a problem about the people. Because all the religion say about love, about life together. If killed, that's not a problem for religion, problem for the people.
Do you think there's anything you can do to build up the Jewish community here?
I try to do what I can. And I and my wife, we work very hard about bring the spiritually more and more. And I hope we have success.
While the rabbi instructs the men in the principles of the Talmud, Mrs. Granevitz talks to a group of women about the culture and traditions of the Jewish people. Evidence that an interest in Israel and things Jewish spreads beyond the Jewish community. Last Monday evening, there were 6 non-Jewish women at the meeting. I asked one of them, a Roman Catholic, why she was there.
Well, the main reason why I'm here is because I'm a German. And even though I was born a few years after the Second World War was over, I nevertheless feel a very heavy responsibility to do everything possible that something of that kind can never happen again. And I think one of the ways of doing this is to be informed, to know exactly why it happened. And I still can't understand why it happened, how people could do it. I just can't understand it. And I keep reading and reading about it and asking people back home who went through it, how they could do it. I can't understand it. But I found it very difficult when I grew up and I first heard about the Third Reich in history. And for a while, I didn't want to be German anymore. I was so embarrassed, and it took me a while to come to terms with it. But I read books about, immediately, straight away, my reaction was reading books about Judaism and a great interest in the Jewish people. But I never met any while I was in Germany. And only when I came as a student over to Britain, I met the first Jewish people, and I had to start a whole work of, once again, to try to come to terms with my own German identity. It wasn't easy for the first few years. Whenever I met Jewish people, I still a little bit, I feel very, very uptight. I'm not the way, I don't feel relaxed.
That the rabbi and Mrs. Granevitz come from Israel makes them an ideal focus for the community. But the men studying the Talmud are old, and the community is shrinking. The Jews are not an evangelistic people. They do not seek converts. But with his energy and conviction, perhaps the rabbi will be able to convert the remaining Jews to Judaism.
Well, if you're interested in knowing more about Belfast Jewish community, there'll be a documentary on BBC One later this month.
For the past
Got hold of the lapels of my coatney, stuck me up against the school railings,